Hey everybody, it's Heather from Heather Spins a Yarn, and welcome to Heather Spins a Vlog. So this is episode 1, and on this vlog I'm going to talk about all things knitting, crochet, and spin related. I may pop in other things that I'm doing, any kind of stitching, but really this is, just like my website. It's just a little hodgepodge of everything and me. I'm going to apologize to start off with. I was on Facebook Live earlier and my phone had to be this way. And when I'm filming for YouTube, I have to turn my phone this way. So I may be looking at the wrong part of the camera. So I promise you there's no one behind you. I'm not looking over your shoulder. I'm just trying to get the glare out of my glasses. And I keep looking to see if it's in. And I'm just going to push through and not even worry about if there's glare in my glasses. My eyeballs are still there behind there. So the reason I decided to do this vlog is because I wanted to have something that I really delve a little bit deeper. I co-host a podcast with one of my best fiber friends. Her name is Nicole. She's from Know It All Nikki, and we host a podcast called Stitching the Miles Together. So, and if you'd like, you could please feel free to check us out. Go to our YouTube channel, subscribe. We try to put out a new episode every week to 2 weeks. It really just depends on our schedules because she's in Alaska and I'm in Ohio, so it makes it a little bit hard for us to kind of sync up, especially when she is a night owl and I am absolutely not a night owl. I've woken up at 4:18 in the morning for the past 3 days just because my body's like, hello, I'm awake. So today I was just going to talk about a couple things that I have on, a couple things that are upcoming, and just to get myself in the habit of jumping on and vlogging. I have no idea how long these episodes will last. If you do enjoy them, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel. That just helps me to know that you like what I'm doing. So without further ado, so you see behind me, that's my fun pom-pom garland. I will have a tutorial coming up pretty soon. Not that you couldn't Google pom-pom tutorials, but I talk a little bit about how I make them. It's a little bit different than how other people make them, and just different things you can do with pom-poms. Garland is definitely one of them. But what I'm wearing right here is, this is the Prima shawl. If you've seen me online, you know I've talked about this a little bit. Sorry, I was looking to make sure that you could see it properly. I really just don't trust myself to do things on camera, apparently. This was a knit along that I did in May, and I just wove in the ends like last week. Because to be quite honest, it wasn't my favorite piece because I made such an elementary mistake in making the pattern that it doesn't quite lay properly. It looks great like this, and I can put it over my shoulders, but it was supposed to be increased every row on the ends, and I just followed the pattern as written and didn't put those increases in, so it wasn't super clear, and I wasn't paying attention to my stitch count at the end of each row where I should have had more. And then I realized at about, I want to say like 200 rows in, and I wasn't going back. At that point, I did the increases like I was supposed to at that point, and I probably shouldn't have done that. So it's just a live and learn, keep yourself warm. I wasn't sure I was actually going to keep it. I thought about gifting it, and sometimes that's how things that I've made have been gifted, because maybe I intend to make them for myself, and then once they get done, I don't quite like them. But other times things are specifically a gift. Like, I know I'm making this for so-and-so. It just really depends. And this was in the, I'm not sure who's going to get this, but I don't know that I really want to keep it category, but it's grown on me. The ends are woven now. And I really do love, it's alpaca and mohair. So this part right here, and I love some of the parts of this are just so fun. That's what kind of makes it, this part here is like one of my favorite parts. Yes, I did cover up my face, but so it's made out of mohair, which is by Arrowhead Fibers. This is her Feral Pigeon colorway, and then the alpaca came to me in a Knit Crate box. So Knit Crate, you get like 2 skeins of yarn and patterns and stuff like that. So this alpaca came to me in that. So I had the supplies because I was so I could go ahead and just join the knit along. I was really excited to join with other knitters, and then I didn't finish on time, but I thought on time was a different time. But I got real frustrated. Like I said, I realized where I had messed up, and it went in timeout for a little bit, and then I picked it back up again. But the alpaca was very splitty, and it started to break at points during the end, and it just really frustrated me, and I really had to, it was a struggle to finish, and then I didn't weave in the ends, and then I didn't like it because I couldn't weave in the ends, and I had to, it was just a whole long thing. Sometimes things don't go as planned. I have another project behind me. I can see it. I'm not picking it up right now. Hopefully next time I do my vlog, I'll be wearing it. It is my downtown cardigan by All About Amy, and I gauge swatched and I modified, and then I wrote notes, and then I didn't actually follow my notes when I did the sleeves. So the sleeves are like 4 times longer than the sweater is because of the modifications in the yarn that I used. So one sleeve is taken out, half of it I had to take out so it would fit. And then the other sleeve, I need to do that as well. But since it's black yarn, it just is a little bit hard to do that. So I want to make sure that it's nice and bright. Although my husband did remind me that I have an OttLite that I could use to do that. And so, yeah, I need to finish that. I also have the homecoming cardie that I test knit, and then Corona happened, and we had a lot of other things, and I never finished it. I'm on the sleeves. I'm on Sleeve Island. I figured out Magic Loop. I love Magic Loop. So I need to go back and finish the sleeves so I can also wear that. Other things that I have going on. Let's see here. Well, I've got this in my lap. So I like to watch podcasts. Most of the podcasts that I watch are knitting and crochet related. Some are spinning related, but not a lot. If I need help with my spinning, I'll go and look up something, but most of the time not. So this is, make sure I have it on the side, yes. This is the Made with Love cowl. This was designed by Hannah from the Cozy Cottage Crochet. I really love, it's just, this is crocheted, and there's just this neat stitch. So you get this really cool texture. It almost reminds me of a broken rib stitch. And this is, it needs to get blocked. So it's kind of like the ends are not quite straight. I need to really give her a nice blocking. I'm going to be doing that today. Since this isn't superwash yarn, I have to be a little bit careful. This was an exclusive kit. Hannah designed the Love Note cowl, or Made with Love cowl. I keep wanting to say Love Note because everyone's making these Love Note sweaters again by Tin Can Knits, and I'm really trying to resist the urge because I have like 3 sweaters that are going right now. We'll talk about those in a minute. So this is actually, this is the colorway Nova. Oh, there we go. Camera's over here when it's this way, Heather. So this is the colorway Nova, and this is actually, oh my goodness, this is actually filming pretty close to color. And this is an exclusive colorway. This is a Z-Twist yarn, and you can see how you can really, there we go, see it. Z-Twist is specifically for crochet, or is better for crochet because you don't unravel it as you're going into the stitches. I noticed that I did not have a problem with that at all. I was super excited. The stitches really pop. I did have to go down, I think the pattern calls for a size 5mm crochet hook, or an H. Most of my crochet hooks are not in letters, which I think is the American, or I don't know. So I used a 4.5. I did have to size down. I was a little concerned that I might have to size down a little bit more because I remember Hannah on her podcast talking about how she had sized down, I believe, because she wanted it to pop out a little bit, and I wasn't sure that the pattern was popping. It's just a really, and it's a great pattern. And what I really loved is how easy it was to memorize. And then how many repeats, you just count the bumps. So it was super awesome. But I was concerned that maybe my stitch count, or not my stitch count, that my my gauge wasn't tight enough. You know, maybe I needed to size down a little bit more. But I was looking at her pictures and I saw that she didn't, it looked similar to Hannah's, so I was not concerned about that at all. So yeah, I'm really excited to block this and then to seam it up depending on how quickly it dries, and then wear it because it is chilly in Ohio now. Northern Ohio, it is definitely cool down. Yesterday, I think, was probably our last warm day. It was 69 degrees when I came home from work. And it was 81 in the house because the sun was like streaming in all the windows, and it was amazing. So really excited to block this and to wear this. And it says that it's worsted weight yarn. It's really just light and fluffy and thin. And the yarn and the pattern, let's see here. You can only get the pattern when you buy the yarn through Crochet Luna. This is her exclusive yarn. Like I said, this is the Nova colorway. Hannah named the yarn after her daughter that's going to be born here soon. So I'm very excited to, like I said, block and seam and maybe possibly block again. That's what she recommended. So I'm going to throw that over there on the couch. The next thing I'm going to talk about, because it's just right here in my lap, is I am doing a, what is that? Oh, well, here, we'll just do this one next. Next up is I'm going to be doing a cardigan from Tin Can Knits as part of their free knitting library. I really loved the cardigan, and this is going to be all seamless. I'm super excited. So this is cassette. Oh my goodness. I need to, like, this light is perfect. I have not been able to get a good shot of this yarn. And there you go. Oh my goodness. This is from Destination Yarn. This is her worsted weight base. Super yummy. My husband, what Jeannie does at Destination Yarn, I've known her for a long time. I knew her like when she was first forming. It's behind me, so if I'd have to jump up, and nobody wants to see my butt. So I have some of my pricey yarn has been from her, like Special Nest. I would say even Splurge. My granddaughter has one of the hats I designed, but with her yarn, and it's called Amber Ways of Grain. I love that yarn so much. And then I loved this. This is based on a Monet painting. This is called Cassette, and this is going to be the Harvest Cardigan by Tin Can Knits. So I just last night I fell asleep right after I did it. You start with a provisional cast on, and since I had just finished using my yarn, I went ahead and I had a crochet hook. So I went ahead and chained for my provisional cast on and promptly fell asleep with the hook in my hand. It was fun. So this is a For Me sweater. My goal, because I wear cardigans year round, my goal this year was to make more pieces that I could wear in my wardrobe every day. And so I'm making a lot of cardigans and some sweaters, and I'm just doing a lot of, I guess, selfish knitting. Nicole and I talked about this on our podcast a few weeks ago. And I've been knitting and crocheting for like 20 years, and I have very few things that I made myself for me. Even my family, they would be last on my list. I was always so busy trying to people please that I would make all these things and I would give them away to like people I hardly knew. And so now I have really firm boundaries, and I don't really make a lot of things. And when I do make things and I sell them, I have my husband price them for me because he takes into account my time and everything else. So I'm getting ready to crochet up some overlapping life hats. Yeah, it's a pattern that I designed, overlapping life crochet hat. Down here, sorry. The knit version is coming out probably in January of 2021. I'm just converting a lot of the stuff. So this is my prototype hat, and I love this hat because this was where the pom-pom sat. I thought it was going to be a convertible hat, and I really think it might be because I had a ponytail in my hair today. Half fuzzy. And I loved it. I put it on. I mean, it was kind of weird when I was doing my Color Street thing, but I mean, it is like super great. I'm not putting the pom-pom back on this hat. I didn't think I would wear it like this, but I like it. What do you guys think? So overlapping life, I'm going to be doing a make along. Details about that are going to be coming out on the blog this week, where it's going to go through like January 31st. There'll be, I guess, bonus points, but it's just not, I don't know if it's going to be just an overlapping life make along or if it's just gonna be like a hat make along. I haven't really decided what it is that I want to do. I don't want to like pin you in to just have to use my hat, but I guess that might be kind of the point that people make along so that you can, use their patterns. But if you check it out on the blog. There's a free version of this listed. And then if you'd like to purchase the PDF, you can do so in Ravelry on my Heather Spins a Yarn store. And I actually have a cowl in the works right now. It's out with testers, and I'm still debating whether or not I want to submit it for publication or if I want to just spread it out for you guys, which is the way I'm leaning. And then speaking of testers, I also test. I love test knitting and crocheting. Nicole tells me that I do it a little bit too often because then my stuff kind of gets pushed to the back burner. But I really think that it makes me a better pattern writer because then I can see things that other people write. I don't know. I just not like to take their ideas, but like to see how patterns, like just how it just works out better that way. Just to see, I just like, that's how I learn. I learn by doing. So right now I'm making a swatch. And this is going to be called, this is the Fuzzy Raglan sweater, I think. I can't remember exactly what it is. This is going to be for my granddaughter. This yarn is massive. I mean, it's pretty thick. I'm using size 13 needles, which when I use fingering weight yarn most of the time, these things feel ginormous. So let's see here. Huga. I'm really glad that they had that because I was going to say it wrong. I said Heike. So this is the yarn that I'm making it out of because she asked for Bolis yarn and I, for the life of me, could not find any. Or if I did, I found like one skein, not enough for anything. So when I went off island last week, I couldn't find yarn for it. So I saw this. I knew I had one at home. I knew I didn't like to crochet with it. I've tried to crochet with this yarn and I wanted to set it on fire. When I do reviews of yarn and patterns, that's actually going to be one of my categories, is the likelihood that I would like to set it on fire, because that's really, that's what when you know I'm having a hard time with the yarn, like my husband or when Nicole, it's pretty much the two people that really check on me about my knitting and crocheting. And so I'll say, well, I didn't want to set the yarn on fire the whole time. But I figure for my nearly 5-year-old, which I still can't believe, granddaughter, this will be perfect because it's machine washable and dryable, I believe. I probably should have checked that beforehand. Machine wash, cold, gentle, cycle, temple, dry, low. Yes. So very friendly, very 5-year-old friendly. And it's very budget friendly because you get 100, I think, and 32 yards. Yeah, so you get 132 yards, which is 141 grams, and you get, it's a bulky yarn, and I think it was less than $4 a ball at Walmart, because that's where we were at the end when I finally gave up and finally decided this was it. And Catherine Gibbs is the designer, and she said this yarn will be perfect, and so I'm pretty excited because it's not like, it's just a really, I don't know, I think it'll look nice. So I'm gauge swatching right now because I firmly believe that gauge swatching is, you know, the thing you need to do. Some people don't gauge swatch, and I don't know why. Like, I've watched so many videos lately of different podcasters and vloggers that have said, oh man, I would really liked how this fit me if I had just gauge swatched, but I didn't want to. I just wanted to dive right in. Or I don't want to waste the yarn. I mean, honestly, it doesn't waste that much yarn. I actually had to size down. This is my second gauge swatch. Oh, this is extra yarn from the first one. If I need to use this yarn, I'll take it and use it. But I like to save my gauge swatches because guess what? I now know that this is what, like, this is what I would knit on these needles. This is what I would like. So once you already do the gauge swatch for yarn, and especially if it's a yarn you're going to use over and over again, and I know that I'm going to use Destination Yarn over and over again. I have lots of it. I love it. And when I went to get this, my husband and I always talk. Some knitters and crocheters and spinners, like, they talk about how they hide their stash from their husbands, and they, they don't, their spouses know how much they spend on yarn. And my husband and I are not like that. We pretty much, if it costs more than like $20, we are talking with each other about it. And so I wanted to buy a sweater's quantity of Destination Yarn. And we're definitely two different price points here, because this is made in the factory. Red Heart is a huge giant company. They sell all over the place, where Jeannie is one person dyeing this yarn. I'm not throwing this. This is not machine washable and dryable. I mean, there is drastic differences between, indie dyed yarn, which is what Jeannie is, versus big box commercial yarn, which is what this is. So you can get, I use a lot of Cascade. You can get Cascade a little bit cheaper. I think it's like $11 a skein for like the 400 fingering weight yards that I had. So you could get, that's definitely better price point, but you're not going to get that same just gorgeous quality that you get from the hand dyed yarn. So, and it's just so soft and squishy, just like rubbing it on my face. So anyways, so there's that. And so speaking of Cascade yarn, look at that. I'm doing my own segues. And I'm not even sure if this is all going to sound very cohesive when it's all done. This is just me. If you know me, you know this is how I am. I'm just like bing, 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 bing. And I've only had 2 cups of coffee, for those of you who want to know at home, because, well, that's all. 2 cups of half-caf coffee. All right, so the next thing that I'm working on right now, and if you are working on the Stephen West Mystery Knit Along for this year, the Slip Stitch Extravaganza, and you don't know, if you aren't past clue number, there's the regular clue, the bonus clue from clue 1, and then there was clue 2. So this is really section 3 of the pattern, which is where I am now. Then please look away. If you don't care, then look. All right, so here we go. So this is my section 1, my bonus section, which I love. Oh my goodness. I did not like this section when we started off. Like, I told my husband it was a lot of effort for what I didn't notice as well. But that's because I used my speckle yarn, and the base color was very similar to the base color of, and this is Superfine Yarn Company Vesper. This is a mint and merino. Oh goodness, my nose is itching. Just picking up fluffy yarns. Base. I love it. And then I have, the bucket's in my thing. So that's this. This is the Vesper. And this, oh my goodness, I'm just going to go on about how this light is. This is just amazing. Everything is like exactly the color it should be. So my colors are, this is the Vesper, which is my main color. And then my 3 contrast colors are, this is from Cascade. So this was $11. Where this is from Superfine Yarn Company. And even though this is just a tonal color, it's what you call the solid colors. Even though this is a tonal color, it's still, it was like $24 for a skein of it, because it's quality yarn. And I'm not saying the other stuff isn't, but this is Sarah, and Sarah hand dyes her yarn. And again, we're paying for time and expertise and just amazingness, and that's what that is. And then these 2 are Malabrigo colors. And so here we go. So this was the one in section 2 that the bonus section I didn't really like, but it's gorgeous. I love it. And that is my other one. So this is contrast color 1, contrast color 2, and then this is contrast color 3. Yes. I may mix it up in the striping if they have me go in order, so that but it's looking gorgeous. I'm really enjoying this. I'm still avoiding looking at full pictures of it. Seen snippets here and there, but I still want to be surprised. I know that I'm not going to be surprised because I've seen them all, but I don't want to know what the full thing all laid out is going to look like. Very excited because because of the mistakes I made on this one, I am keeping track. But Stephen West is an amazing pattern writer. I mean, and he's so encouraging. He has so many tutorial videos. I aspire to get my YouTube channel anywhere near what his is. It's just amazing. And the video, I love Stephen's videos. So yes. So I am just super excited to watch this thing grow. And I think I'm going to knit on it for a little bit this weekend, but my focus this weekend is really going to be to get this going, which is get the the test done, because I may see my granddaughter at the end of the week. I'm not sure yet. So if I do, then I'll be able to let her put the sweater on, which will be awesome. So, and I think that, oh, this is my cow. I'll share that with you next time. So, all right. Well, I think that that's all for today, because I just wanted to pop on here real quick and say hi and to get the ball rolling, where I can share with you things that I'm watching, things that I'm reading, things that I'm knitting and crocheting. Not as much crocheting this week. I have a couple things that I'm doing. I'm actually going to have a pop-up shop with some overlapping life cows, so I'm going to get those going. I'll talk a little bit more about that later on this week. Oh, and my tags are coming. I'm so excited. I ordered some tags from Pew Pew Lasercraft, and I'm really excited. They are going to be cork labels, and they're just, I get to put them on my projects, and it's just so exciting. I don't know, something about being legitimate and doing all the things. All right. Well, I'm so happy that you joined me today, whether I was looking at you or over your shoulder. I don't really know. I will get better at this, I promise. Normally I'm with someone and I'm watching them, but I just wanted to pop on and say hey and invite you to join me on this new vlogging adventure where Heather Spins a Vlog. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel, because if I get to 100 subscribers, you know what I can do? I can come to you live right here on YouTube. So if you would like to share this with a friend, please do. And if you have any suggestions of things that you would like me to talk about in the show later on, I do it. All right. I'm a Midwestern person, and we are horrible at goodbyes. If you don't know about the Midwestern goodbye, you should Google it and laugh. All right, guys, well, have a great day, and thanks for joining me.